Hey docs, welcome to Research That Matters on today's Smart Chiropractor show. If you have been following along, you know we talk about a strategy of teach and invite consistently. We think about that with an annual calendar, monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts. It is May 2022, which means we are discussing our monthly campaign called Posture, the Science of Body Positioning. All month long, all of May, our Smart Chiropractor docs are putting out fantastic content, automated. They're doing videos, they're sending emails, we're posting, there's blogs going up, lead magnets, you name it. We're helping them lead the conversation in and around posture in their communities. Now, our weekly topic for this specific week is improving your posture to keep your spine healthy. I have a couple things I just want to break down on this as we talk about this topic. Posture tends to be, as time goes on, one of these almost divisive things within our profession. There are some techniques and docs that are wholly focused upon it, and there are those that don't want anything to do with it. And I'm going to encourage you to think about it as a helpful tool for how you approach your clinical practice. You do not need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, to understand that the balance between, as I like to say, strength and flexibility is critically important. We know that biomechanics change over time, not only due to injury, not only due to gravity, but due to the natural effects of living life as a biped, being upright, moving around. These wonderful things that we're able to do have some amount of trade-off. What is that trade-off? Well, we know that the pinpoint of motion, they call it the instantaneous axis of rotation, migrates posteriorly as people age, and that loads the facet joints. So what do you want to do to mitigate that stress, to mitigate that load? Well, you want to have as best of segmental biomechanics as humanly possible. There's no question about that. You certainly also want to be in tune with what's going on globally. So as we saw in our last segment, and as we've had many guests discuss, the proliferation of movement assessments over the last 10 years has been a fantastic tool to be able to understand what's going on dynamically as somebody goes through a movement pattern, whether you're assessing a squat or whether you're going through flexion extension, whatever it might be. You know which to choose and what's appropriate for the patient. And all of those dynamic movement assessments give you a clue into what's going on statically. So just like there's a balance between strength and flexibility, there's also an important balance between static and dynamic motion and ultimately posture. And there's no question that over time, again, due to gravity, injuries, things happen over time, that when there is abject imbalance between strength and flexibility, when there's abject imbalance of proper segmental motion, that's going to have deteriorating effects. And us as chiropractors of all should be highly in tune with coaching, educating, and taking care of our patients in a way that mitigates those stresses as much as possible. There might never be a way to eliminate them, and we also know they're dynamic. There's a lot with what we put in our body, food-wise, nutritionally, that affects our physiology and ultimately our neuromusculoskeletal system. It's also how we move. And of course, how we think plays a huge role in what we eat and how we move. So all of these things, when we talk about posture, I think sometimes it can be siloed in many docs' minds to thinking that it's all about this one static image and you either love it or you loathe it. But I'm going to encourage every doc out there to consider posture as something that's dynamic. Consider it to be something that's a foundational item to who you are and what you do. And while today was maybe more of a doctor-focused presentation, more so than, or a little bit of a monologue here rather than patient-centric, you can be ensured that if this is a conversation you want to lead, and I think you should be, in your community, Smart Chiropractor is going to present and provide for you all of the patient-focused communication that you need to open people's minds, to make an impact, and to help you, as I like to say, proactively answer the questions people in your community have about their health. And whether you like it or whether you don't like it, a lot of people have questions about their posture. Jason?
I think you said it beautifully, and just to sort of take the baton and continue, with what you started. Yeah, maybe it is divisive from a clinical standpoint within the profession. I don't think it has to be, but it is. But it's not divisive as it relates to a conversation in the general public, real people with real questions and real issues. I don't know that many people that sort of go, I don't believe in posture, or that's not important. Most of us the cliche and the joke is, our moms always told us to sit up straight and, make sure we had good posture. So it is a common conversation that in today's digital age, most people are actually concerned about. And they're concerned about it only from a small percentage of what they should be concerned about it for. Because for the most part, generally speaking, people in the public think posture is just an aesthetic issue. You're going to look like you're hunched over, like the hunchback. Some go so far as to say and understand, I went to a seminar, and I know if you're hunched over, you won't be as positive in your attitude and emotion than somebody who stands up tall. In fact, ironically, I'll just sort of throw this in there for those that may watch podcasts or can live in the online world. There's a really popular guy who's been out there now, a clinical psychologist out of Canada named Jordan Peterson. And he's been going viral for years now. He's been on every major podcaster's show, and he's all over causing a ruckus. He wrote a book called The 12 Habits of Life, I believe it's called, as a clinical psychologist, a guru about life and so on. And what was interesting to me was that when he laid out his 12 rules for life, the first, not the 12th, not the 10th, not the 9th, not the 7th, but the first rule of the 12 rules of life was stand up tall and pay attention to your posture. And it has everything to do with our body's understanding, right? Our physiology of being hunched over versus tall. It has everything to do with how people perceive us. Somebody who's like this versus somebody who's like this. What he doesn't get into is what we should be getting into, which is the neurological benefits of good posture and the neurological damage or negative effects of poor posture. And from a neurological neuroscience perspective, there's lots of ways you can go about explaining that. The day-to-day mindfulness of paying attention to not only how you're sitting, but in many cases, how you're looking at whatever screen you're on all day, almost every day, is a really critical thing for people to know and learn and pay attention to. And you have the opportunity to be their leader in that conversation of something that affects pretty much everyone all day, every day, whether it's not a device, but it's a baby, and a mom may be having a newborn. They have to watch their posture, whether they're hunching over, how they're holding, what they're looking down, looking up. Everybody's got to figure out, as this week's topic and this month's campaign talks about, the science of body positioning and how to improve your posture to keep your spine healthy. You could extrapolate that out to say how to keep your brain functioning at its optimal level, how to keep your nerve system functioning at a higher level. We know the relationship of posture and function. Most people don't understand how important it is to make sure they're paying attention to their posture. And this is a great, great, great topic. Again, I'll just close by saying, if you're already a client, if you're part of the Smart Chiropractor, there are those of you that just want to set it and forget it, and you have and you can. This is what's going out to your people. For those of you who are our influencers, who are content creators, who go, thank you very much for setting the stage and getting all these topics out there together. I'll take it from here. Take it from here. Now's the time you can really start exploring and going deep. Share testimonials of people before and after posture. If you didn't do that before, start doing that now for next year. Think about different ways that you can make these topics real. Your experience, your testimonials, your practice, your personal understanding or feelings, and maybe even technique. If you are one of those, if you use one of those techniques that are posture related and posture minded, then this is a time to enhance the value of your approach to care and why posture is so important, not to you, but to them. That's the key point here. We'll keep teaching you how to teach others in a very effective way. It's all about teaching and inviting on a consistent basis. Great topic, super important, affects everybody, everywhere, all the time. There's even sleep posture. So take it from there. There's lots of topics you can talk about. If you've got a topic that you have talked about that isn't in this, leave it down below or leave it in our private Facebook group. That's very much what we do in our private Facebook group, is we share these ideas with each other. Again, we know there's two extremes to our clients. Those of you that just want this stuff to go out because you know you're not going to do it yourself. It's out. It's great. If you aren't doing that yet, you can. Those of you that are figuring out, I'll do it, just tell me what to do. Let us do the basics. Let us set the stage. Think of yourself as a rock star. We'll get the stage together. We'll get the background music together. We'll get the dancers together. We'll get the merchandise and t-shirts together. You get to get up there and be the rock star and performer that you are, to share what you want to share most about the topics that we put up and create for you. So great topic. Hopefully you're going for it. If you've done something with this, share it with us. If you want a private message Jeff or myself and say, hey, this is something I put out, you're a little shy, probably like myself, we still want to know. We want to know what you're doing so we can feature you in our member highlights section coming up next.
That is absolutely correct, Jason. And if you would love to learn about how we can help you get out there, visit thesmartchiropractor.com. This section is brought to you each and every week by the Smart Chiropractor, where we showcase how you can teach and invite your way to more new patients, better retention, more reactivations, all through organic free channels, all through putting out great content, and by answering these super important questions that people in your community are asking. The only question is, who are they going to find the answer from? We believe it should be you. Head over to thesmartchiropractor.com. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.